on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with a little bit more fantasy booking, and I have to do it this week because it's Spurs from WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is goddamn next week, and next week it's going to be all about the previews and the predictions and the go-home shows and all that fun stuff. So I have to do it now. I hope you guys enjoy. This is just me spitballing, this is me pulling things off the top of my head. But if you've been following me for any length of time, or follow sort of my presence on the internet, whatever the fuck that means, you'll know in my podcasts, on my social media, mostly Twitter, on other people's chats and live streams and super chats and all that sort of thing, I have been pushing super hard that Finn Balor defeats Edge at WrestleMania, and this springboards him ultimately to beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at SummerSlam. I've said it in conversations with people, I've said it in tweets, I've said it in Facebook posts, I've said it on podcasts, I've said it on other people's podcasts. It's time to put my booking where my mouth is. Is that the expression we're going to use? So this is a very rudimentary, hey, this is just some cool shit that I would like to see, plus pulling on some old story strings as well, how I get Finn Balor from WrestleMania to SummerSlam. SummerSlam, look at the logo of SummerSlam. SummerSlam logo looks really cool. It's got a little bit of fire on it, you know, Demon Finn Balor. Anyways, 3 things I'm going to say right off the bat, and if these 3 things put you off of my particular fantasy booking, then that's cool. I'll see you next time. For my fantasy booking, I kind of have to forget that Backlash is a thing. We're going to go Mania, King and Queen of the Ring, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. Number 2, it does include one person who's only a rumor, technically not part of WWE just yet, and it does include one person that, quite frankly, is not in WWE because he's over in AEW, but I need him to make one of the parts of the story work. If that's not your jam, if that's not realistic enough for you, cool. Like I said, we will see you next time. But here we go. Bloodline is the biggest story in the WWE right now, but it's serious. Now, if you take out the serious factor, the next biggest story in the WWE, I mean, realistically, it's Rhea Ripley, but it's the Judgment Day. Judgment Day is bringing us a lot of fun. We are getting, even though it hasn't been announced yet, excuse me, Dominic versus Rey. Damian Priest better be doing something after WrestleMania. I mean, I could do a totally separate video right now on how Damian Priest needs to be the United States champion after WrestleMania, but that's another story for another day. Rhea Ripley's obviously going to conquer Charlotte Flair, and it should be the main event because she won the fucking Royal Rumble. But the one that I'm looking the most forward to, and I said this a lot in the matches we know so far for WrestleMania post, is Finn Balor versus Edge at in Hell in the, I was going to say at Hell in the Cell because it used to be a pay-per-view, in Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. And I said I want this to be as stupid as possible. I want a purple cell on fire. I want Edge coming out on his big ridiculous fucking goth throne. I'm most looking forward to, I've said it before, I will say it again, I am most looking forward to whatever the ridiculous Judgment Day version of the Demon will be. But, it goes without saying, WrestleMania, Finn Balor is going to beat Edge at Hell in the Cell, and Cody Rhodes is going to defeat Roman Reigns. I mean, if Cody Rhodes doesn't defeat Roman Reigns, I'm going to laugh a lot, but that's another story for another day. What happens after WrestleMania? We get the Raw after WrestleMania, and everybody's saying this year Triple H is going to come in, sort of hard and heavy with the post-WrestleMania, Raw after Mania surprises. I only really want one, because I'm spreading out my surprises, as you're going to see as we go along. I'm spreading out my surprises between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, because I think that's a lot more than the night after WrestleMania, here's a bunch of new bodies, fuck everybody else, because I don't think that works. The one return that I'm going to have on the Raw after WrestleMania is Tommaso Ciampa. I think there's a lot of things you could do with Tommaso Ciampa. You need to draw a line under the fact that he's no longer with The Miz, probably by beating the shit out of The Miz. You could do some DIY stuff with Gargano, a lot of stuff. But if, as I said, we're taking Backlash off the calendar and everything else gets a little bit more condensed, the next thing you do after a pay-per-view is you start building towards the next pay-per-view. The next pay-per-view is King and Queen of the Ring, so we have our qualifying matches. Finn Balor obviously is going to come out the night after WrestleMania crowing to high hell about how he just beat the Hall of Famer, the multi-time champion, the rated R superstar Edge. And you know what? It's not just about what you do on the big night, it's what you do the night after. Kind of a reverse of the whole CM Punk point back in the day where he said, very rightly, okay, cool, Undertaker's going to beat me, then what do I do the next night? Finn Balor is going to flip that, do the positive side of it and say, okay, yeah, of course I beat Edge at WrestleMania. Hopefully he will do it on night one so that he's got a little bit of time to rest before Raw. But he says, you know what? It's all about what I do next. Whose ass do I have to kick next? And in sort of a proving ground type match, I'm going to say that his open challenger, his open diatribe is answered by Ricochet. Because Ricochet, although I would love to see him get some cool shit going for himself as well, he's way too good at making other people look good. He's got sort of a more intense Dolph Ziggler thing going on in some ways. I really hope that that doesn't last forever. I want him to reach the peaks that he should reach as well. But in this case, Finn Balor versus Ricochet is signed for later on that night on the Raw after WrestleMania. It's the main event, and it is the very first qualifying match for the King of the Ring. Obviously, they have a banger, they get a decent amount of time, 20-25 minutes to show what they can do. Finn Balor, still a heel, still part of the Judgment Day, but really gets a chip on his shoulder because Hell in the Cell has shown that, yeah, he is part of an asshole group, but he can be an asshole all on his own as well. They could even do something cool like, I was celebrating so much from beating the hell out of Edge at WrestleMania, I didn't even wipe my paint off, and he could have like sort of a disheveled bit of the demon paint left on or something like that. Something ridiculous like that. But he beats Ricochet in a really good match that doesn't make Ricochet look terrible, and he's the first one qualified for King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring, sorry. Now, King and Queen of the Ring itself, I don't think we're going to do the whole tournaments on the night just because there's now 2 of them, but I think you're going to get semifinals and finals of the 2 tournaments, which itself is like 6 matches long, and I'm sure there'll be something else on the card as well. But obviously Finn Balor gets his way to King and Queen of the Ring. Now, here's where you got to give me a little bit of leeway. You got to allow me to have somebody that's not technically in WWE anymore. In the semifinal, Finn Balor, sorry, I'm going to say this the other way around. NXT, sorry, before we get into King of the Ring, I'm going to say NXT in its prime had 4 pillars, just like AEW. I'm not saying that to take the piss out of AEW. You guys know what I think about AEW, but the 4 pillars of AEW are all awesome. Go look at the MJF. Look at the Bar Mitzvah segment that they did where all the 4 pillars were in the ring together. All fine and wonderful. NXT, when it was at its pomp, when it was at its height, when it was at its black and gold best, also had 4 pillars. Had Finn Balor, the guy he's going to beat in the semifinal, Tommaso Ciampa, the guy he's going to meet in the final, Johnny Gargano, and one other guy. Here's what we do. Tommaso Ciampa versus Balor is a brawl. Show the evil side of Finn Balor. Show, I can get down and dirty when I want to because I am that asshole. Show that he can survive that, and then go on to have a technical main event with somebody like a Johnny Gargano. He's there. He's all set to go. He knew he was going to win King of the Ring, so he's not going to take the shitty crown they were going to give him. He's got his own. It's purple and ridiculous and everything that makes the Judgment Day great. And then the lights go out. And we hear, check the system. Because the 4th pillar of good NXT, Adam Cole, comes out and says something to the effect of, hey buddy, did you forget about me? Congratulations, you're a king, but a king is only as good as how much he defends his crown. I dare you to put that crown that you just won up against me right now. Adam Cole makes a great showing of himself. Maybe Judgment Day comes by and there's a little bit of shenanigans, but ultimately, at the end of the day, Balor retains his brand new crown against Adam Cole. Now, here's another thing that we can fix from before. When they originally brought Finn Balor up to the main roster from NXT, before they send him back to NXT to fix him again, it wasn't good enough to call him the Demon. They called him the Demon King, which was a little bit lame at the time, because he was trying to be like a babyface, he was trying to be Serious Demon when it was Serious Demon, and he was trying to be like a regular smiling way too much babyface when he wasn't the demon. So the Demon King thing didn't make any sense. Now that he's ridiculous, now that he's an asshole with a goth chip on his shoulder, the Demon King works, and you could have an insane amount of fun with that. Not quite in the same way, but look at Xavier Woods and how, like, gamer cosplay-esque he did with King of the Ring when he was King Woods, and he had that awesome, like, royal music for a little while. So you take that type of lighthearted approach to it, and you have the Demon King Finn Balor. The Raw after King of the Ring, Adam Cole comes out, thanks the crowd for welcoming him back, Roddy Rod, like WWE is really, really good at. And he says, hey, even though he needed to get a little bit of help, I kind of surprised him on the night. I'm gonna give the devil his due. Sorry, I'm gonna give the demon his due, because at the end of the day, we do have something in common. And he throws up the Bullet Club sign. And yes, I know I'm treachery into dangerous territory here, because I was never really a Bullet Club guy. But Adam Cole comes out, wants to show with proper respect to Finn Balor, gives him the too sweet just for a second so that they can enjoy it, just like, you know, him and Styles a while ago. And then he immediately drops him, hits him with the coup de grace, takes him out, grabs the microphone and says, all right, I'm done playing around. I got my win at WrestleMania. I got my win at King of the Ring. The King needs another crown. Cody Rhodes, get your ass out here. Cody Rhodes comes out, smirking, laughing him off, you know, looking down on him like only Cody Rhodes can do. And he says, you know, he's not the only one you have that in common with. And he sort of puts like a half-hearted Bullet Club sign up as well. But, I mean, you know, you've got a couple of little accomplishments over your belt here and there. But there's a couple other guys who want a piece of you before you can try to get a piece of me. After King of the Ring is when you get the return of AJ Styles, along with Gallows and Anderson, and Cody sets up a mini gauntlet after, you know, too sweeting everybody and putting himself over and Roddy. So over the next few weeks, leading to Money in the Bank, Balor gets, you know, consecutive wins. He's got, it's a good story for several outrolling weeks of Monday Night Raw, but you have him against Anderson and he wins. You have him against Gallows and he wins. You have him against Styles, put that match in the main event. He said, oh, he thinks that this is his last big hurdle, because the Monday that we do this, the Monday that we have him versus AJ Styles, is the go-home Monday Night Raw to Money in the Bank, which is happening over in the UK. It's an international show. It's in a stadium. It's a huge, big fucking deal. I'm excited about Money in the Bank, by the way. And he says, all right, I put down Cole, even though that was a surprise. I put down Gallows. I put down Anderson. I put down Styles, even though I shouldn't have to. Cody, get your ass out here, blah, 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 blah. And Cody comes out, once again, teasing the Bullet Club sign. He's like, do you think that's the only friend I have? And Monday Night Raw goes off the air with a sneak attack on Finn Balor by brand new to WWE, brand new to Monday Night Raw, Switchblade Jay White. On SmackDown later on, because that would just be the show cut into black. On SmackDown, there's a news thing, there's a blip, there's a, I don't know, an announcement from Adam Pearce that says, you know, we're happy to have Switchblade Jay White in the WWE on Monday Night Raw, and his very first opponent at Money in the Bank will be the Demon King, Finn Balor. So, Money in the Bank, at whatever big stadium they're going to be performing at in London, huge main event. Maybe you don't even have a title match that night. Huge main event, Finn Balor versus Switchblade Jay White. Finn Balor takes out the Switchblade. Comes out the next night on Raw, and he's done with it. He's foaming at the mouth. He's jumped through all the... He's almost in his own mind cutting a babyface promo, because that's what a good heel he is. And I've basically done all of this so that he can cut this exact promo. Cody, you need to give me a title shot. You need to give me a title shot at SummerSlam, and I'll tell you why. I've got the resume to prove it. I've got a resume that you can't argue with. I went to hell at WrestleMania, and I beat the devil. I went back into my own past and fought my own NXT pillars, and I knocked them all down. You pointed that gun at me, and I dodged every bullet. You may find me undesirable, but I am the undeniable #1 contender for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. You get Finn Balor, the Demon King, dethroning Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, and the Demon King becomes Finn Balor, the Demon King of Kings. You're welcome. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.